Hello, agents and prospective agents. I am Matt McCray, agent and success coach here at fexsuccess.com. Thanks for watching the video. Today we're going to discuss the basics of final expense. What is final expense? What's the market like? We're just going to give you a basic overview of exactly what final expense is. Now what I've done for this video is created a PowerPoint. So I'm going to turn off the video of me. We're going to move into a PowerPoint presentation and kind of go through what the final expense is. So let me get this started here. Okay, so here's the PowerPoint we're going to go over this morning. Final expense basics. So what is final expense insurance? Well, it's typically a whole life insurance policy which people purchase for taking care of their final expenses. Now their final expenses are typically the funeral, burial, and expenses that are associated with that. Other things that final expense insurance can be used for is, gifts to grandchildren, charity, charitable donations, or pretty much, surviving spousal income, pretty much a ton of things. Now these policies are simpler to qualify for. They're based on answering just a few health questions on the application. So who's the target market with this? Typically it's going to be people who are 40 to 85 years old. That's what the carriers are going to design the programs for typically. Lower to middle class income levels, and all income classes can qualify. So basically you're going to target the lower to middle income class because those are the people who typically purchase this type of insurance, but you can sell it to anybody through any income class. So what are the different types of final expense? Well, it's basically broken down into about 4 different types. There's a level death benefit. This is someone they're going to qualify for this if they can answer all of the health questions on the applications no. And on this type of policy, there's going to be no waiting period for it's going to be a level death benefit whether the person passes away during the first month after they've purchased it, or if it's 5 years later or three months later, or whenever they pass away, they have an immediate death benefit, which is level. It's the amount of life insurance that they purchased. So the next option is going to be the graded benefit. This is typically going to be for people who have some health issues. They've answered most of the questions on the application no. There may be 1 or 2 health conditions that they might have, taken some prescriptions or something like that. Now on this type of policy, the benefits are going to be graded for the first 2 to 3 years depending on the carrier. And what I mean by graded is each carrier has their own rules, but a lot of times the way it works out is if somebody passes away during the first year, the beneficiary is going to receive 30% of the face amount. So if they've purchased a $10,000 policy, once they pass away, that person's going to receive $3,000. If they pass away during the second year, the beneficiary is going to receive 70% or $7,000. If they pass away third year or longer, anytime past that, the beneficiary will receive the full $10,000. Now, on the graded policies, if the person passes away and it's not based on a health condition, but it's more of it's an accident, so that's going to be considered accidental death, and it doesn't matter at that point when they die, whether it's 6 months in or a year or 2 years, they're going to receive the full death benefit. The next one is modified. Now this was going to be somebody who typically has more health issues, but they can still qualify. So on a modified plan, the death benefit is going to be paid out similar to a graded policy, and it varies by each carrier how much the beneficiary is going to receive. But typically on a modified policy, it's going to be a return of premiums paid during the first 2 or 3 years plus 10% or some number like that. Every carrier is going to be slightly different. So check with the carriers that you're writing with and make sure that you understand how their plans work. The next type is going to be a guaranteed issue policy. Now, the guaranteed issue policy is going to be for somebody who's very unhealthy. This is a last resort option. It could be somebody that currently is going through cancer treatments, somebody who has AIDS or HIV, somebody who typically can't get either a level, graded, or a modified plan. But always use this as a last resort option. And this one typically, anytime that you do a guarantee issue, depending on the carrier, again, it's going to pay benefits out like a graded or a modified benefit. So it's going to have that waiting period for 2 to 3 years, just depending on the carrier. So it's very important that when you are marketing final expense that you're going to know your carriers and the applications. That way you know how to qualify somebody, whether they're going to be the level, graded, or modified, or if you have to go to one of those guarantee issue plans. So here we've created for our agents a which carrier to use cheat sheet. Now this carrier to use cheat sheet is it's a great tool. You should put it in your briefcase, carry it with you on every appointment. It lists out the carrier, it lists out the health condition, and it's going to tell you based on the carrier and health condition if it's going to be a level benefit, if it's going to be a decline, if it's going to be a graded or a modified, or if you're going to, if it says decline and all of the carriers say decline, then you're going to, at that point, know that you need to go to a guarantee issue. This chart also implements the height and weight chart from all of the carriers that we work with. So you're going to want to make sure that you understand and you review the height and weight chart. The next important thing about knowing your carriers is really you got to read and study the applications. You've got to study and understand the agent guides and follow this chart, but use this chart as a guideline. You really need to know this information. We also recommend that you're going to have more than one carrier. There's a lot of agencies out there, whether they're that are captive agencies, you're only working for one carrier. We typically never recommend that. You're a slave to that carrier. You can only offer their products. So, that gives you no chance to shop around for your clients and get them the best deal. So it's very important that you're looking and you're able to shop around a handful of carriers. Typically, if you've got 3 to 5 carriers, no, you don't have to go out and get 20 or 30 carriers because that's just insane. Nobody would want to do that, and there's way too much to understand and too much to learn. But typically, if you've got 3 to 5 carriers, you're going to typically use 1 to 2 of them as your go-to carriers. You're primarily going to be writing those carriers. And then you're going to have a guarantee issue if it's available in your state. Some states don't have the guarantee issue. Some states don't even have the modified benefit plans. And why it's important to have more than one carrier here is, you've got an illustration here. Let's say you're sitting down with somebody, 72-year-old female, and she has COPD. Well, if you were going to place that with one carrier, we'll just call it carrier 1, with COPD, she could apply for coverage and pay $81.40 for her premium. Now, if you look at carrier 2, they're not so friendly with COPD. They're going to only offer her a graded benefit, and it's going to be $93.42. And then we have, in the same exact situation, we have another carrier that you could take a look at with this lady, and that would be carrier 3. She's only going to qualify for a modified benefit with that carrier, and it would be $103.66. So as you can see here, understanding and knowing your carriers, using the carrier cheat sheet, you'll get a better understanding of which carriers are going to be best suited for your individual clients. Okay, I hope you enjoyed learning about the final expense market. If you have any questions, make sure to put those into the question area below the video here if you're on our YouTube channel. If you liked the video, make sure you put click on the thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do that as well. This way, you can get a notice each time we upload a new video, which is about twice per week now. Thank you and great selling.